It's April 2nd, 2022. Put my first video out in a few years. Sorry, I've been away. Just had some stuff I was working on, and I'm glad to be back. Hope you're well. Hope you share this. I'm going to put as much as I can out, and hopefully under 10-12 minutes, about what's really going on in the sky right now. The Great Awakening has occurred, and we're very well into the true awakening, and I think the greatest time ever for the human race. So glad you're here. You're meant to be here. I'm going to hopefully explain and put this in ways that'll help you understand where you are and what you are. We have the outer 5 planets in the last 3 signs of the zodiac plus Taurus, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So we have Uranus and Taurus, Saturn and Aquarius, Pluto in Capricorn, and then we have Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces. Now the outer 5 planets are when the universe looks at us and goes, you're going to have to wake up. The internal planets have worked heavily on you, but it's time to wake up. And so it's really the universe pummeling our egos, pummeling our ability to think that from an ego perspective that we're better than nature, we're better than how things truly work. And so the awakening's happening. In each of these scenarios I'll explain here in detail, hopefully in a quick manner, because I know I'm boring to listen to because I'm monotone. So I'm going to start with Uranus and Taurus. Uranus rules the final fixed sign of air, and that's the communication, the final communication sign. That air rules communication. And Uranus, because it's fixed, is stubborn. It gets to the truth in its most direct form. And because it's the final air sign, it doesn't care about any other thing than just finding the truth. I consider Uranus be the conspiracy theorist planet because when the truth comes to you from a Uranian perspective, you get to it in the most direct form. A lot of times your timing's way off, and so you get frustrated, but the truth is revealed. And that's what we're dealing with now. So the conspiracy theorist term will go by the wayside, in my opinion, and Uranus and Taurus are going to help that. Taurus, being the first earth sign, is a fixed sign as well, and it's about the initial phases of understanding when your soul comes into this life that you're in a physical body. It will deteriorate, needs to be taken care of. There is a birth and there is a death. You got to understand that from that physical perspective because we're on Earth. You're going to understand way better how the Earth works because you've been lied to. All these planets and these signs, these late signs, and then Uranus and Taurus, everything's been pretty much a lie that's been told to you on a grand scale. And if you're not doing your own research, everything should be staring at you like a maybe even a bad dream. That you better wake up and you better do your own research and you better think for yourself. Taurus rules because its initial phase is on the Earth sign perspective. It deals with the home. It deals with the body and the health of the body and the maintenance of the body and the home, and it deals with food and money. Those are the key factors here. And so if you look around, money's changing, and it will continue to change. There's so many things that have gone on from an evil perspective that what was of value is getting ready to change, or is changing, or maybe has changed, you just don't know it. And there's a new value system coming, so I'm not going to go into details. You figure it out yourself, do your own research. You can ask questions in the comment section. I'll answer as good as I can, but I'm not going to be your answer person because I want you to do your own research. From the food perspective, as you've seen, we poison the food from almost every scale. And now they're trying to create shortages, or the shortages are trying to be created. Figure that out, and then from the home perspective, what is it that you need for shelter and for a home? All these are being dealt with. We're going to be in a way better place when this leaves in about 4 years. The sign of Taurus, Uranus, that is. The next sign I'm going to go through, Saturn and Aquarius. Aquarius is Uranian ruled. It's Saturn rules Capricorn. Saturn is where I read most of my charts and what I follow the most because that's what we have to deal with the most. And it's about the truth in its most direct form. Truth is that you have the truth and the answers within you. You might want to get to them in a clear, healthy perspective. This is where we must learn that we must get in line with nature, and that nature does have a way, and it's way better than anything we could be. We've been lied to from the history perspective. Saturn kind of rules that. You might want to wake up and dig deep into what's really going on, because pretty much everything you've been told has been misrepresented, and you're going to have to wake up and figure out, and again, do your own research. It's time that you start speaking as you learn. Don't be afraid. Saturn in Aquarius is going to make you come to some pretty big revelations that are going to hurt, and that's okay. You need to hurt now, because Pluto in Capricorn, the sign that Saturn rules, is changing all that. I'm going to that now. Pluto in Capricorn. So in the late degrees, it's when the change happens if you have not changed. And obviously, by what I'm seeing, and is the change is coming, but it's slow. And Pluto's relentless. It's not going to let you get away with it without changing. Pluto reveals what's good and right, or what's wrong and bad. Pluto also deals with what's beneath the surface, and it makes you realize that from beneath the surface, stuff you might have been hiding. I treat Pluto like it's you've been introduced to cancer. I don't want anybody introduced to cancer, but that disease kind of was supposedly discovered during Pluto's findings. But it's you know, if that happened to you, what would you do? First thing you do is blame yourself, right? Pluto's an ego destroyer. What did I do wrong, or did I do something wrong? If somebody said, "Hey, you have cancer," and what I'm here to tell you is all Pluto is revealing and getting you back in line with nature, and you have the power. So what would you do if you got the diagnosis? The human race got the diagnosis of cancer. We got to rid itself of cancer, and we must release. We must get back in being timeless, because it's dealing with evil, and then that you probably, the history has not told you the truth. That you're probably having to deal with that and awaken. This is the best time, I think, to be alive, because we're powerful. We've dealt with and seen that, maybe what we thought was real isn't. And we've dealt with this in past lives. If you believe that, I do believe we're incarnated. And I'll talk about that with Neptune and Jupiter and Pisces. Because this is death and rebirth. This is evolving from the past where you were stuck. So it might have stopped you in a past life, and it's the hurt or the hiding or the revealing that you don't want to have to deal with, but now you have to. And I look at this as some of the best possible times to awaken and to grow. The ego must be destroyed here. So if you say and realize that, hey, what if you went to school your whole life, and to realize that schooling led you down a path that wasn't good for working with and being in line with nature? What if you had to deal with that, and then to look and say, man, I got 4 years education, or 6 years, or 8 years, I don't care what it was, and you had to look at that and go, I might need to swallow that, and realize that that education took me to what society or what the evil intenders put out there for me to help them with what they wanted to do. And you have to stop and wake up and get you back online with the truth. I think that's healthy. I think you had to learn it all the way in that perspective to get where you are. So no matter what you've done, there should be no regrets, other than you learn the lessons, the deep-seated lessons that need to be learned. Okay, that's Pluto in Capricorn. I've said this a few times in the past. It was when we had from 1760 to 1777 was the last time we on Earth experienced Pluto in Capricorn. So you know what happened during that time. This one is for humanity to take back over. So the power will be back within if you go get it. It's not going to be brought to you, and you don't have to do your work. You've got to do the work. Uncover every stone. Deal with what is necessary to deal with. Get your ego out of here. That'll be the best thing you can do now. Please, and don't be afraid to talk about what it is you know and want. Don't be afraid at all. This is the time. You'll come about in the ways you need to advance. Trust that the universe is going to help you at every step. You do not have all the answers. Pluto rules the hidden. But what I'm gonna tell you is, as you work on these things that are painful or that you wanna hide, as you work on revealing, you're not gonna be very experienced and you're gonna struggle. First thing you're gonna do is blame yourself. You're gonna wanna be a victim. I know, I've done all this. But know that once you break through that initial phase of dealing with Pluto and the hidden and the areas that you think you can keep covered because you need to, it's just a sign of weakness. You gotta reveal them, the better you'll be. So, get through that phase, get to the next level, because we're at the end. We've got about 3-4 more years of Pluto in Capricorn. And then Pluto is just gonna get to the truth because it's going in Aquarius in all facets, at all speeds. Pluto's relentless. It's not going to let you go without dealing with this. Last one, I'll talk about Neptune, Jupiter, and Pisces. They're both well placed here. Pisces is the final sign of karma, sorrow, self-undoing. It rules the non-physical. It's the magical. It can be the magical side of the esoteric. So Jupiter expands and wants to improve and bring you gifts in your non-physical gifts or your non-physical abilities. So use that as Neptune's here as well. There will be a lot of deception, but there's a chance to really get to the highest truth possible with these other scenarios of planets in the signs they're in. This is about the truth, and I think this aspect that's coming, middle of April, they're going to be exactly conjunct. I cannot see a better time for you to awaken. So you're going to be frustrated because that's, I think, what Pisces does, because it prepares you for a whole new beginning. It's the final sign. Neptune's there with Jupiter. They both like this energy. The chance is to grab what you've worked on in the past, and I'm going to say mostly from non-physical. So it's your intuition, your instinctual side, your ability to perceive, and you're not going to be able to explain it necessarily from a physical perspective. So don't get tangled up in that. Like, you got to prove it. You have to have a license, a degree. Don't worry about that. Go with your abilities deep inside of you that's coming out, that you have the ability to work from, I think it's the universe's, God's, whatever you want to say, perspective, and become who you're supposed to be. That's the time that we're in. This is a timeless moment that we can catapult ourselves. So get ready for huge changes here in April. May, June, all the way through August. This is the expansion of power within. So the limitations that you've been that have been brought to you about knowledge and acknowledging the true power that you actually have, and you can't do anything unless you get a license, a degree, or you have to read a book. It's all baloney. Get over it. Get past it. Wake up. I'm telling you that there is no better time for the individual to awaken. I want to say that we all have God within us, or the universe, and find it, and let's go. Do your own research. There's not a better time ever than right now. Do your own research. I encourage you to look at my Pluto video that I made back in, I think, 2011, and then just look at a couple other the things I positioned out there where Saturn was. But we're finding the truth. We're finding the truth that's within. And you're also finding, because Pluto does, but astrology rules both ends of the spectrum. So if you're finding the truth and that the truth's within, you're going to see that the truth on the outside and from a very large scale, and the truth that's been trying to tell you that you don't have the power, the opposite of all that, is being exposed, and that's a big lie. So the big lie is being revealed. Wake up. I'm going to be way more direct as I put videos out, because I have no other way at this point to be than to just tell you like it is. Comment if you'd like. I'm begging you to share. If you don't, that's fine. But I hope you're feeling this, and I hope you awaken, because if not, I don't think you'll like where you end up. So good luck, and take care.